The number of Wisconsin communities designated as bird cities continues to grow.
It's all part of a conservation effort to create a better place for birds and other wildlife to live. Matt Creasy joins us live from Barkhausen Waterfowl Preserve in Suamico with more on nests for birds. And Matt, this honor for Bird City, is it for all of Brown County or a certain number of municipalities in Brown County?
Well, Brown County in general has received that recognition of Bird City, Wisconsin. And actually Green Bay, the city, has also received that recognition. So even though it's called Bird City, communities in general can obtain that recognition. So it's kind of spans across all different towns and municipalities and things. But Pete, I have a question for you. How come geese fly in a V?
Because they tried doing it in an X and it just didn't work.
And the G was out of the question.
Aren't you supposed to go ask Grandpa or Grandma that?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
how
right.
Come?
Yep. How come? Well, how come?
Matt was paying better attention to us than we were.
Yeah, actually the reason is for energy conservation. The goose that's in the lead is always breaking the wind, so they end up switching positions. So those geese that are in back then will go to the front and so forth. They'll travel throughout that. And also for communication, otherwise they're kind of clumsy. They'd run into each other when they're flying. So there's a couple of reasons there.
Pretty smart.
Anyway, back to our nesting. Out here at Barkhausen, part of our Bird City recognition is because of what we do out here. And the preserve itself, we have a lot of islands out on the waterways, and these islands are excellent nesting habitat. And you'll see we have a goose out on this island right now, and she's sitting on her eggs. Geese, it takes about 2 to 3 years before they start to breed. And they breed earlier than most birds do. The main reason behind that is when they're young, hatch, the food is in its prime. The grasses and other things that they'll eat in that waterway. So it's kind of evolved over time that benefits those geese out there. And that goose, she's been on her nest for about 2 weeks, I would say. Maybe a little bit earlier than a typical spring, but it takes about 28 days that she'll incubate those eggs, and then they'll hatch. Anywhere from typically 5 to 8 little goslings will be swimming around the water out there. And also, for geese, it's kind of a family bond. The gander, and it's always the male goose that's called the gander, and the female is just the goose, but the gander is off in the distance, and he's really doing a job out there. He's watching for predators and protecting his mate. So if something were to be coming along, he'd go after that, whatever predator it would be, and flap its wings and honk pretty loud at it and try to chase it off. And even as the babies are born, that gander, he'll protect those babies. It's not only mom that does that job like some wildlife, it's mom and dad that take care of them together. And speaking of the giant Canada goose, out here at Barkhausen Waterfowl Preserve, there's actually a lot of history that goes along with the geese. Back in 1932, Mr. Barkhausen had bought 3 breeding pairs from Kingsville, Ontario. And that's back when Canada geese were thought to be extinct, or the giant Canada goose was thought to be extinct. So he brought those pairs back to Barkhausen and raised them. And after several years, he ended up with many breeding pairs, and he sold or gave them away to places like the Sanctuary or other places throughout the Midwest. So there's a lot of history out here at Barkhausen with the Canada goose. And that's not the only critter that's nesting out here. Oh, sorry, Rachel.
No, I was just going to say it's a great place to go see a lot of different wildlife and birds there at Barkhausen. And man, unfortunately, we're out of time.
Oh, all right. No problem. You guys have a great day.
Well, you too. Very informative.
We always love talking with you and seeing the beauty there at Barkhausen. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.